Now,
Yes,
right.
now we are.
So, but my consideration is like, look, if I have like a bunch of books behind me, yeah, I come off like I was thinking about moving my camera to in front of a bookshelf and being one of those guys, right? But um, you know, anyway, it's Thursday,
It is. It is.
right?
We actually are able to get an episode out today,
There's right
and we have
because
hammers.
yeah, and happy Thursday. It's I now have my coffee is open now with a hammer.
I'm sincerely hoping that we are like actually live because I'm not seeing
Are we
anything in
not?
the chat yet.
I saw the notification on my phone and it says we've been live for like 30 seconds.
I don't believe it. Sounds like a lie. I'm
I
gonna have
don't
to check.
I don't necessarily believe anything anymore. And it says
Oh no, we're
there's
definitely live. Everything
oh,
looks
are
like
we?
they're good. Everything looks like we're good. Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
everything's broken. Don't worry.
Okay. If everything's broken and everything is fucked and there's nothing that we can do about it, I'm not necessarily worried. We're spending a lot of time on this opening.
We really are.
Yes,
Is
happy
that a,
Thursday, you fucks. It's hammered out. We're here after way too long of a break. As you might
we
have
wanted to
known,
have a hammered out while we were at the Faithless Forum, but then there was a non sequitur episode, and we just did that.
yeah, we just sat down for that, and we did fun times because Kyle's a fucking troll. But um, the yeah, I don't know. We you might have seen on Cirrus's channel we did a road trip um
That was fun.
which mainly involved me speeding ahead of him and catching up to me multiple times because it was essentially a rabbit and hare race, a rabbit and hare
Rabbit and
turtle
tortoise, rabbit and
turtle
tortoise race,
with but
tortoise
with
and the
me
hare.
having the tortoise turtle sigil. I was moving like the anyway, whatever. We made it to Texas uh after 15 hours of driving. um that was a thing. Where are you at? What did you hey, we reached there, you got back.
I
Did
played
you
Tetris in
survive?
your room.
That's right, you did shove blocks into places in my room.
Yes, that is a thing that happened. We got there, and we found out
Also, I
that
have a I have a Talk Heathen mug because I went and trolled the ACA for a little while. But go ahead. What was your
we had so we when we got there, we started checking in. Um, the first thing we noticed is that the actual room that we had gotten, like me, Aaron, and Braz, we got a room that had only one bed. But Prophet of Zod got a room with two beds. So as soon as Zod got there, Aaron Raw dropped off Prophet of Zod. And as soon as Zod got there, we saw his room, and he was like, I mean, do you guys want to switch so you guys all have beds? And we were just like, yes, please. Let's do that. So we did. And then I spent most of my time just kind of dinking around in Ocean's room for a little while, playing Tetris mainly.
that's yeah. There was a lot of Tetris. I tried. I tried, right? It did not go well. I tried. Um, what did I rank, like 90 something or some shit? No, I ranked higher than that. What did I do?
I think you did like
Like
rank
40 or some
53,
shit.
something like
Yeah,
that.
somewhere around there. Um, it was an adventure. Um, but what was your experience at Faithless Forum? Talk about it a little bit. I'm going to post links to this video in places.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. The first day we all went to go see Avengers, which was cool. Also, we have a super chat.
My rafflecopter
Yeah.
goes
My
SOI
Raffle Copper
SOI
says soy
night my
soy night night my
dudes.
dudes.
No, soy soy. No, no, you don't know the meme.
I don't
No,
know.
it's
I don't know the
my rafflecopter goes swah swah. My dudes,
Swa swa,
swah swah.
my dudes. Oh, I just hear soy soy.
I hear soy
Can't
soy as
pronounce
well, but
things on
that's
the
only because
internet.
I deal with I've been dealing with a lot of right wing people on my channel recently, and apparently their go to remark is soy boy.
Oh, right.
So I've been hearing it for different reasons. I don't know, what is it? What is the go to
Is that because
stuff?
you're a cuck?
It's the go to
Is
stuff is
that
it's libtard, it's cuck, it's soy boy, it's snowflake, and it's usually some variation of those four, plus maybe a few others, and it's never anything else. It's always those things, and I'm just like, do you have a vocabulary? Are
I yeah. It does seem like they used a lot of the same memes. Uh, whoa,
you right?
Susan. In the chat, someone says the ACA has released an official condemnation of Rationality Rules.
Have they? I would need a link to that. I don't.
Yeah, Susan, if you can send a link to that, that would be interesting because I know that was like a thing of conversation because there's a lot of people having conversations with Rationality Rules, including myself, about his video and um, that he was making a follow up and how he should approach it. Um,
It'd be very weird to release an
so
official condemnation of him right after he just appeared on a bunch of episodes over there as well.
yeah, yeah,
That
because he
sounds
did show up on
strange.
a number of episodes. He was on Atheist Experience, I think, twice. He was on Talk Heathen. He was on, I think he was on Talk Heathen twice. And he was on Truth Wanted. Um, and I know that there was a lot of like backlash about that. And everybody was kind of talking amongst each other about kind of how to handle this and all that stuff. I threw in my 2 cents every once in a while, but I'm not part of the ACA and I'm not an atheist. But you know, if they issued a condemnation, I'd be surprised because
That's actually no, that happened. I'm looking at it right now.
it did. Read it. Can you send it to me?
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Like we're sitting here like as this is apparent. This is developing. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, this was released for 14 hours ago, something like that. There we go.
Discord it to me. Yeah,
I have.
Cool.
Look at their post from 14 hours ago.
14 hours ago. Statement from the ACA. Recently, are made aware that guest co-host Stephen Woodford made ignorant and transphobic videos, statements, social media platforms. I'm just going to read this. Made ignorant and transphobic videos and statements on his social media platforms in the weeks leading up to his appearances on the ACA shows. We would like to make it clear that we do not condone his opinion or attitudes, and that we fully and actively support equal rights for the LGBTQIA plus community. We acknowledge that the ACA did a poor job showing our support by allowing Mr. Woodford to make appearances on our shows without either addressing his controversial views on air. That was my criticism. I wanted them to do that a little bit more, but it was like avoided. Anyway, or asking him to refrain from appearances until he released a clarifying statement on his channel. It's another thing that I thought they should have done. We failed to communicate our feelings and intentions in a timely manner to our volunteers and our fans. We sincerely apologize for the pain and anguish our failings have caused to our viewers, volunteers, and the ACA community all over the world. We love the trans community and are deeply distressed to have caused anyone harm. We have let you down. We intend to do our best to earn back your trust. The ACA is working quickly and diligently to ensure that this kind of mistake does not happen again. We will be coordinating with our hosts, co-hosts, and staff to communicate any potential issues with the guest well in advance when they are set to appear in an ACA production, and the ACA will not knowingly allow any ACA production or publication to be used in a manner that is inconsistent with our mission and position statements. We would also like to hear from you, our ACA family. If you have any ideas and feedback on how we can do better, please email us. Sincerely, Board of Directors, Atheist Community of Austin. So they're saying that having him on was a mistake.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah. Well, that's new.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, because I have thoughts on that, but I don't know. I want to talk about a Faithless Forum, but this issue kind of like hovered like a dark cloud over Faithless Forum, right? Because Rationality Rules is there speaking on multiple panels, discussing multiple topics, has released videos since the trans athletes video that caused a lot of controversy. Has been saying that he's working on a new video. I'm aware that he's working on a new video.
We just don't know what the scope of it is yet.
I know a little bit about the scope of it, but I want him to make his video. So, someone's asking what they're apologizing for. Rationality Rules was on multiple ACA production shows like Atheist Experience, Truth Wanted, and Talk Heathen. So um, we're seeing
some of the fallout from that
the fallout from that. Yeah, because there
and
was a
the
lot
response
of
to the fallout.
Because like Dan posted on Twitter that he was having Rationality Rules, and he got a little bit of a backlash
Yeah.
from that on Truth Wanted. Um, so there you go. What are your thoughts? Go for it.
My thoughts is that it was inevitable that they were going to have to do that. Like the ACE was going to have to, because the issue was so fresh. Had this been something that like Rationality Rules said a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't have been as much of an issue. But this was one of the more recent videos he made right before the forum itself. So,
Yeah.
that said, uh, also there's a comment in there that Steven clarified it's not transphobic. I understand that. So there's two separate issues at
Yeah,
play
there's a
here.
lot of like moving parts to this. We could probably have a whole hammered out episode on
So
what that video was.
I'm not
But
going to try to compare. My view on Steven, I do not view Steven as transphobic. I want to throw that out there right now. I do
yeah,
not see
I don't
that.
either.
I do not see that as his intention. I do think that he didn't quite realize what his rhetoric was going to lead to, which is a thing that we see a lot. Steven himself, from what I can tell, and I don't mean to speak for him, is not transphobic. That is, we're going to put that issue in a cup. That's right here.
Right.
Now, separate issue. If your reasoning behind saying, and I recognize this does not apply to Steven, if your reasoning for saying that someone is not phobic of any particular issue is that they say they aren't, that is a really wrong way to go about it. As an example, if somebody says, I'm not homophobic, but I don't think that gays should marry. I'm sorry, but you're homophobic. It doesn't matter if you say I'm not homophobic. The mere fact that you said that you're not
He
doesn't
has
mean
a
anything.
but position though. Like he's got a I'm not transphobic, but on the issue of trans
Also,
athletes.
I need to interrupt for 1 second. Kimomaki in the chat says doesn't seem to have anything to do with theism/non-theism, and we didn't say that it was. We didn't say that this
Yeah, this
episode
is a
was going
Faithless
to.
Forum discussion. Faithless Forum covered a lot of things. So this is actually one of the it wasn't stated to be an issue at Faithless Forum, but it wound up kind of being like
It was a thing that people were
one
worried
of the
about.
behind the scenes conversations that was going on pretty consistently. Um so yeah. Um Anywho, so he made the video. I don't think that Stephen himself is transphobic. I do think that his video was ignorant
Tone deaf.
and yeah.
Tone deaf is the word
Um,
I would use like pretty much instantly there.
and I'd say that like the I hesitate to say this, but I think it's actually kind of true that the video itself is pretty transphobic. Um, that, but I don't think that it was intending to be. You know what I mean? It's kind of like this weird line that he needs to walk, and this is the reason why he needs to make a clarifying video in the first place.
Yeah, because like from the conversations we've had with Steven, obviously he does not espouse any of the more like problematic rhetoric is his own personal ideals.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's obvious to us, but we're people who have had personal conversations with Steven. He needs to make a clarifying video still, which he's already said he's going to do.
He's also said that he was wrong on a number of things in that video, and he understands that the rhetoric that he used was hurtful, and that he's working to change that. Now, all this depends on his follow up. Like, what does he believe that he got wrong? What does he believe that he said that was hurtful? What is he going to be doing in order to correct that? These are all things that he has yet to do, that he needs to do, and he knows he needs to do, but he hasn't done them yet.
Like as an
And
example of a situation where this applies to me, there was a video that I made a little while ago where I said specifically that people who cannot recognize when a charlatan is trying to play them in a religious sense, when somebody's trying to play them here,
yeah,
I said that people who don't recognize that this is an issue and don't point it out can be just as bad or are just as bad as the people who are actually doing it, not even realizing that by me saying that, a commenter pointed this out, and I pointed out that actually, no, you're right. A commenter pointed out that literally by me saying that, I was essentially being ableist, because if somebody didn't have the capacity to understand, like they literally could not functionally have the capacity,
oh,
I just threw them in the bucket with the people actually causing the harm.
Right.
It's a thing that I didn't even realize I had done until a commenter pointed it out to me, and I realized it when I responded to, "Oh, I made a mistake. You're right. I need to make sure that that's not a thing that I do again in the future." So this is a thing that when I'm looking at what happens, is what's happening with Steven, I'm looking at it going, "No, I can see what's happening over here because it's happened to me because I've done this. I've said the dumb thing, and I've had somebody call me out for it in my comments, and I've had to account for that."
Right.
So it's this is not a foreign issue to me.
Yeah. And like um I talked to him briefly about how his video in the way that he created gives ammo to the wrong kinds of people, which he acknowledged. Um and I wish that he'd made his clarifying video by the time we have this conversation, but it's been weeks, you know. Um and there needs to be clarification from his side at this point.
I will say, as far as
It
that
needed to be before he made several appearances on the ACA
that
videos.
and that might be the case. I think that that probably is the case. Is that it would have been more socially acceptable
Mm-hmm.
had he done the clarification video before doing a lot of the public speaking stuff. But that said,
There's no clarification video currently, just so everybody's aware.
yeah, he's just
everything,
said he's
and
just
that's the
said
reason
that he's
why
doing
these
it.
conversations are so damn hard. I retweeted his statement. I mean, just read his statement about it. Because this is while I was talking to him about various issues relating to it. Where is it? Fucking hell.
He has made. I will say this, and this is the last thing that I want to say on the issue with Steven, because I can see that there are some people in the chat who are trying to do a hold the legs to the fire thing. Steven has already admitted that he made mistakes in the video, though we do not know publicly what they are or what he considers the mistakes. We do know that he is making a clarifying video because he has publicly stated that.
Here, let me read his statement just for that. Yeah. So he says, "Hey all, I'm currently working on a video in which I both clarify my views on transgender athletes, including how my views have altered, and publicly apologize for the ignorant language that I used and mistakes that I made. Please PM me if you have more info for me to digest."
Which is an honest way to go about that. So if anybody's trying to do this holding the feet to the fire thing in the chat, he's openly said that you can do so by sending him a DM with the relevant information so that he can digest it and then use that information to properly assess the situation. So he's doing so. With that said, that's the last thing I want to say about it because there's not a whole lot we can do or say until he's made his own clarification.
There's nothing really to make a comment on. He said that he's wrong on a few things, but we can't really suss out what he believes that he's gotten wrong, whether or not he's right about, what we think it is.
Yeah, and I have no want to publicly throw this person under the bus.
Right. And I think that conversations because I had disagreements with him while I was sitting across the table from him talking to him. And I gave him pretty hard pushback, and he disagreed with some of my pushback. But I don't really want to go into those conversations because I don't want to pin him on disagreements that he's had that he doesn't want to make publicly. Because if at the end of the day, the conversation that I had with him makes an effect that wasn't immediate, then I want him to just have that. I just want to have him, he has the time to formulate his opinion, examine everything, be convinced by reading whatever documents that have been sent to him by people that I know and others, and then he can make his video, and then that's when criticism can really take place.
Yeah, so we're gonna.
Because I also don't want to misrepresent him, and anything like that. But you had conversations with him about this too, right, Zurus, or did you?
Not this issue specifically. The issue that I got into was, I think there was a little bit of obscurative language or a little bit of sophistry that he engaged in during the forum, during their morality conversation.
Yeah.
So there was a there was a point at the forum where Shannon Q asked him a question. Because Rationality Rules and Cosmic Skeptic were having their conversation about morality. And in that conversation about morality, the idea of suffering versus pleasure was brought up. And then when the issue of how the brain interprets certain stimuli to be one or the other comes up, Shannon Q sent a question out saying, well, how do you differentiate between pleasure and pain here? And then Steven gave about a 5-minute response to that. And then I approached Steven afterwards and said, "So I have a question. You know that there was a 2 second answer to that, right?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, instead of going into the 5 minute long like multi-layered response, just simply pointing out that the dichotomy is between pleasure and suffering, and pain can lead to either. The issue is simply that there's a dichotomy between pleasure and suffering, not pleasure and pain.
Right.
Pleasure and pain is a false dichotomy." That's a very
I know
quick.
some pleasurable pain.
I do. I have a drawer with a lot of it.
So do I.
But just pointing out that, hey, there's a very, very quick and easy answer to that doesn't require 5 minutes of almost obfuscory brain. I'm trying to. I'm using that word intentionally because by using that word, it actually obfuscates what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's the whole reason I'm using that word.
That's funny.
There's no reason to do that. So that's my main issue, is just kind of like bathing everything in almost sophistry there. And he agreed with me that, oh no, that there was a more like there was a quicker way that I could have done that didn't involve going into everything. And I yeah, Jack and Quill in the chat. Cirrus can't English. I can't apparently. But yeah, no. That was one of the biggest issues I had. Is it like, look, if somebody asks you a very simple question that has a very simple answer, maybe the simple answer is the ought here, not the long-winded, multi-layered question or answer that by the time you're done with it may not have even answered the question.
So Neil Stone says in the chat something that I agree with. He says that if he's truly sorry, I'll accept his apology and resubscribe. I'm okay with differing opinions, but not when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community. That I agree. And this is one of the reasons why I'm like, we're waiting. And I know that this drum has already been beat, and we should probably move on. But I think that people should have the ability to amend, especially if their statements were made in ignorance, and we can move forward. And we'll see.
We have
in this case.
We have a message from Crypto that I need to do because so just so everybody knows, super chats will be read in voices. Like if a super chat comes in from the first one on, they will be read in voices. However, Crypto has said in Super Kami Guru's voice, "I am an adult," so I had to do that. And Jack and Quill says, "Occam's shut the fuck up." But I figured that I'd need to do that. It's been a while since I've done the Super Kami Guru voice. I need to practice all of the voices I have in my repertoire again. They're all like,
I am an adult.
I am an adult. Nail. I found a cat.
Why the fuck do I know what you're talking about? That whole fucking season, that series is glorious.
It is. That is a must watch series for anybody who enjoys laughing and humor.
So anyway, Faithless Forum. I was invited, so I went. One, I'm going to support my boy Cirrus, and another one, Drew of Genetically Modified Skeptic, invited me as well, saying that he wanted my vantage point on things. And he actually like checked with me several times. The guy's a fucking treasure. And I think he's got like a history of working in like social work or something. So that a lot of like his behavior towards me as being like an outsider coming into a group makes a lot more sense now. And I had a good experience there. I had concerns about being like the polytheist showing up at an atheist convention and being like, I don't know, like insulted or attacked or something like that while I was there. And it wasn't an issue. It was mainly because a lot of the creators that are there were like, a lot of the people that were speaking there already knew me pretty well. Like Shannon Q, I was standing in the hallway and she heard me. I was giving my number to somebody and I said that my name was Ocean. And all of a sudden Shannon Q like glomped me.
Yeah, she gave everybody hugs.
I
Everyone
just
got hugs.
it was not just like a hug. This was a hug with force. Like I flew back against the wall.
Also, we have fan art that has come in,
Oh no.
and
What happened?
as per usual, we have to put the
We
fan
have to
art in
do
and
it.
do our thing. So the first fan art has come in from Jack and Quill, and this is a very ambiguously gendered Cirrus. I'm not 100% certain of what it is, but
I'm looking at it.
it's very hard to tell, and I think that's the point. I'm actually 100% certain that's the point.
It
Also,
looks it looks very feminine to me, but I agree.
also, and it's going to take me a little bit longer than usual to get fan art in because I'm actively categorizing it as I get it in now, something that I've not been doing, and I paid the price for this recently by having to categorize a month's worth of fan art. I'm never doing that again, by the way. Anyway, we have a next one in from Bumblebee, which that hentai face though.
What are you doing?
Just
Oh
look.
god. Oh my
Just
god.
look. You know, that's a bit. I'm not sure how to feel about that.
I kind of love that face though.
I mean, it's kind of a face I've been making repeatedly because I'm drinking tea. So I keep on having to do this.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sitting
So
here with coffee, so
yeah, it's not as bad. But you know, we're just gonna go ahead and we've got that there. We got that there. There's two fan arts that have come in so far, and they're both in the very well, we know what category they're in. So here we are.
but yeah, as far as like me being the polytheist walking around Faithless Forum, it was an interesting experience. But it was a good one. Like I think that my point in whatever I was expressing was to try and bring frith between heathen and atheist while I was there. Uh, Try and like inspire a mutual respect between kind of two camps, and uh, I was open with questions and all that kind of crap. I wasn't a speaker or anything like that, but I was just kind of there, and as with that intention of like me being the pagan going into their house, uh, things went really well. And Lettuce is correcting me. Grith, yes, the Anglo-Saxon view of it would be Grith because it's a public, kind of a public truce relationship kind of thing that's being expressed rather than Frith, which is more of a personal, private. But yeah, I was using Frith for the sake of simplicity's sake. That being said, the the overall experience was positive, and even going down to Austin afterwards, going to meet everybody at the ACA, wound up hanging out with Matt Dillahunty and Aaron Raw and all these other guys.
A thing that you probably didn't think you were going to be doing at any
No,
point.
if you told me that a week ago, I'd have a video call on my phone in my car with Eric Murphy and Rachel Oates and sitting next to me with Mr. Atheist on my phone, I would have been like, "You're fucking crazy. That's not going to happen."
and yet that's just like if you would have told me when I started my channel that I'm going to sit down and eat ghost pepper hot wings with Aaron Raw,
right?
Or that me and Matt Dillahunty are going to critique a Thai dish together. Like, no, that's not a thing that I would have said you're freaking crazy. Stop. Why are you doing that? But no less, those are things that happened.
On Matt Dillahunty, he is extremely chill in person.
He's nerdy as fuck.
It's extreme. At my first experience with him, sitting down next to him, like you went to the Thai place with us, right?
Yes.
And I think you were sitting like across from me, and Matt Dillahunty sitting off in the corner of the table, and I'm next to him. So I'm the person. In order for Matt to interact with anybody, he had to interact through over or around me.
I know what you're about to talk about.
What he decided to do was just show me this mobile game that he's been playing on his phone, where he's been like doing this like Marvel superhero thing, where he's been collecting everybody.
Min-maxing it like a professional gamer.
The guy has spent over $1,000 on this game. and, and just plays the shit out of it, and was just like going through like
Wait,
all the new costumes that he's got, all the, and I'm just sitting here like
Neil.
Matt Dillahunty is sitting here geeking out with me on Marvel superheroes on a mobile phone.
Utah Outcasts, Ghost Pepper, come on, get good, fellas. Okay,
There you go.
I've just gone a few Scoville units higher. Are you happy now? Is this good enough for you, Dad?
He has it next to the computer, guys.
Yes, because I used
He
this
didn't
on
get up.
everything.
Nobody brought that to him. But yeah, that's, and when it finally came up at one point with Matt that I was a polytheist, somebody said, "Aren't you going to debate him, Matt?" And he goes, "Oh, skepticism, whatever." And that's what he did. He just like waved his hands and then went. He didn't care. He didn't want to get into anything.
No, of course not.
So, and I didn't either. I wasn't interested in getting into a debate with Matt while I was there. So, it was, so like that was it. But yeah, you had panels and shit.
Yes,
They were people came to see you.
So at the after, if we're not talking about all the stuff that happened at the hotel, because like hotel stuff was interesting, and I want to get into that first because like panels are neat. Like the thing that I went there to do is neat, but like interacting with fans is neater. Like I prefer that
agree.
over everything.
I thought it was fun. You and I hanging out at Faithless Forum together in between panels, and people that had watched Hammered Out coming up to us and saying hey and shaking our hands and stuff like that.
Yeah, because like it's easy
really cool.
if they couldn't recognize who you are. As soon as you're next to me, they're like, "Oh wait, no, that's Hammered."
Oh wait,
Out.
it's him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, instantly easier to tell at that point. One thing Neil points out in the chat is, what is Aaron like in real life? Chill as hell and scary to drive with.
I was never in the car with him, but I can say that Aaron loves two things. He loves spicy food and he loves craft beer. So I got to he showed me this beer called like Drunken Baptist or something like that. Fantastic stuff. Like he just every event he would have pull out this like crazy new craft beer or something like that. Very awesome, like social, really cool guy to chill with.
Oh yeah, like the next time that if I have the ability, the next time I'm in Texas, I'm going to hit Aaron up and try to do something with him. That's like not even channel related. Just like, no, you're a cool dude to hang out with. Let's do something.
Yeah.
But as far as like hotel stuff, some of my favorite stuff at the actual forum was I took my gaming setup, like my Switch and everything, and I hooked up Super Smash Brothers down in the hotel lobby.
I remember this.
And I hooked up Super Smash Brothers, and I got to introduce Bionic Dance to Super Smash Brothers, her first game of Smash, while playing also with Nathaniel Walters and Prophet of Zod.
BT Dubs. I got to meet Bionic Dance as well, and she's super chill to hang out with as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like she and I have had scuffles before. And to the point where I've had to apologize for some of those scuffles before.
I think everybody in the atheist community has had scuffles because like
right,
skeptics disagreeing with each other. Oh no, what else is new here?
But I really enjoyed talking to her. She was I'm going to say chill so many times because pretty much everybody that was there was really chill. But it was really cool meeting Bionic Dance as well.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, while I was packing up Smash Brothers, I don't know if you guys have seen the YouTube channel Inordinate Refraction before. It's a smaller channel, but they're one of the people who's been watching my channel for like ever. This is one of the people that I'm like, wow, why are you still watching me? I'm boring. But they actually like came up to me at the like before the forum itself started and shook my hand, and I was like, that's awesome. And then they said that, they said something about being a nobody. And I think the thing that I told them was like, look, without people like you, my channel wouldn't exist. And that's kind of a thing I want to extend to the audience as well. Without people watching, my channel doesn't function as a thing.
Right.
So if you think you're a nobody, stop it. Like please stop it. That's not the case.
I get super happy when people leave comments on things.
Comments are great. Comments are wonderful. Even if it's a comment telling me to kill myself because I'm a libcuck, which those are fun comments.
Those are always like I haven't gotten many of those, but I guess they'll come.
They'll come. They'll come. As
Oh,
far as so the first one that came in fan art wise, I'm going to interrupt for a second. We have a fan art from Zach FR, which is apparently an angry Cirrus with the face obscured behind the hood. And then next to that, we have one from Greyheart that is in. Just give me just a second, because I have to make sure that I have these things labeled. Because again, I'm never ever doing this thing where I don't organize this shit as it comes in again, even if it means that the entire stream is just me typing names of things. I will still never suffer through that madness ever again. It's not a thing that I want to do. Okay, and the other one we have is one from Greyheart here, which I'm going to go ahead and full screen for a second. The a-hole grows up to be an exorcist. Why does this happen to me? For anybody who has seen Steven Universe, then this joke will make sense to you.
I've never seen Steven Universe, so
Why, Goshen? Why?
my roommate wants me to see it.
Why do you not like things that are good?
It's not that I don't like them; it's just I haven't seen them.
It's the same thing.
I don't have a negative opinion of Steven.
The internet is absolute. But now, okay, we're going to take Bumblin' Bee's drawing here, and we're going to scale it down just a little bit so I can put it up there. There we go. Now everything fits. Everything fits now. Hooray. Even if it barely fits, it fits enough. There we go. All fan art that is currently in. Cool. Whew. Thank you guys for bearing with me. But as far as the actual form itself goes, when we got there, I met a few other people who are also smaller YouTubers, one of which was X-Cult Baby. If you guys haven't seen...
X-Cult Baby's pretty chill. Like, and
oh, yeah.
I said chill again, but she's awesome people. I think that she's like fresh out of Jove's Witness, right?
Yes.
And she's going to be making content related to that. I want to hook her up with Notjaw Witness. I think the two of them could make really cool collabs.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And she's already getting together her branding. She's like, I think she's going to be breakout.
Oh yeah, I think she's going to do well. The only thing that she needs is just like a little production value stuff, which all that comes with time. Like production values increase with time. That's an inevitable thing. Like she does that. She's already got everything else down. Also, we have another fan art submitted from Bumblin' Bee.
Via the Heathen.
You taste of liar, Ocean.
Via the Heathen says, Cyrus, you and Ocean are both white knighting Libby leftist cucks. And I love you.
White knighting Libby leftist cucks. This is great. But the Divine Disbeliefs in the chat. Nathaniel, you've been in the chat this whole time. You've just been under the freaking Nathaniel Walters account. Now you're in the Divine Disbelief account. But they're the same person. Don't be fooled, everybody. Divine Disbelief is Nathaniel Walters. But that said, so the actual form itself met...
let's help out X-Cult Baby. Yes. Someone said, do you want to put the link in the channel so I can sub?
I'm already doing that right now.
Yeah, let's put it in the description and in the chat, because I subscribed to her while I was at Faithless Forum. I think I did. I'm gonna double check that actually.
I successfully muted the mic before I sneezed. Everything perfect. But in the chat itself, I'm gonna go ahead and provide the link to X-Cult Baby's channel, and then
shout out to SN Balmung, who just gave us $10 with no
context.
Yeah,
they didn't want me doing it. They didn't want me doing it in the funny voices. You know. Also, hold on.
And that's the link to X-Cult Baby, guys.
Yep. And I have just updated the actual live streams information. So if you want to hit refresh at any point, or if you want to do it after the episode to go subscribe to X-Cult Baby, you can do so. Speaking to people to subscribe to, Divine Disbelief is also in the chat, and they have a good channel as well. I say that also because Nathaniel's one of my friends.
Subscribe to me too.
Actually, if you look in the description, Ocean, your new video is already linked in the description.
Oh, is it?
I did that before we ever went live.
Oh, cool. So, should we touch on that a little bit before we...
Sure, why not? We'll finish. We'll do more Faithless Forum stuff here in a second. Let's touch on the video first.
Yeah. So, yeah, new video for me. I did a video about the God who defeated Yahweh. Um, there is a biblical story that is confirmed by a Moabite uh, stele, stone, that talks about a God that got into a fight with Yahweh and won. Which is and the video that I made is the story relating to that and kind of like the philosophical fallout of a God that can overturn a prophecy from Yahweh. So there you
It's a
go.
very good video. He also has the actual verses come on screen for you to read along as well if you want story
Yep.
time.
And in addition to that, I've got links in the description of that video that are resources on Judaic polytheism and resources on, like, there's a couple videos or a video on the wife of God, a book about whether or not God had a wife, which goes into more Judaic polytheism and other polytheistic practices of Judaism. There's another article about that, as well as links to the Moabite stone and descriptions of the deity that are being talked about that are from the Jewish Encyclopedia. So I researched, guys, and I gave you scholarly sources.
He cited his sources,
I
everybody.
cited my sources. I think there's
Sources.
5 in there in that video that are worth looking at.
Speaking of sources,
Sriracha.
Oh yeah, yeah. What about it?
It's okay.
Sriracha, sriracha.
I'm gonna pour this in your eyes. No, I because I eat at my desk, my hot sauces are usually like very close by.
Yeah, it's just that I saw that with the Carolina Reaper you just pulled out. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the Carolina Reaper, because it's in a plastic tube, I try to keep it like on my desk proper. Because if this stuff spills anywhere, this stuff can hurt your skin. Like this stuff actually can damage your skin. Like you don't want this stuff on your hands, but you do want it in your stomach.
Who is licking me?
That's me.
The fan art. I just
You
noticed
taste
this.
of a liar, Ocean. Is that a motherfucking JoJo reference? It is.
I don't know what's going on. Anyway, um, what a weird world we're in.
It's only weird if you let it be weird. Otherwise, it's just normal.
Wait, do I have canned coffee in the thumbnail?
Yes, you do.
This is the one time that I have coffee in a mug.
Yep.
Yep.
If Sir's hot sauce, Jack says, if Sir's hot sauce is Ocean, then Patreon is ended. I'm fairly certain there's a fanfic somewhere of me doing that. You'll be all right.
That's what tasting of a liar is him licking hot sauce off of my cheek.
There were a few other. I don't know if they had an actual YouTube channel yet at the time, but there was one other set of people I wanted to shout out that I met at the forum. If you allow me a moment, this means Ocean, you have to carry things for a second.
Uh-oh. Okay. Well, shit. You didn't give me any warning on that.
I didn't. No.
No. So
You're my co-host. I figured you can manage this.
I don't know how to manage things. I can't read. So I'm stuck. Anyway, I guess I can talk a little bit more about that video that I made, but I don't know.
Aha,
I feel
got
like,
it. It's too late.
like if you want to see it, you should watch it. What's up?
Too late now.
Okay.
I already got it. I found the
Thing
thing.
that I'll say about that video is that I had some Christians respond to that video in my Discord, and they said that it's an extremely good argument, very difficult to actually respond to from a Christian perspective. So, if you want to take a video, it's only a little bit north of 8 minutes. It's something that is kind of a knockdown internal critique of Christianity. Send it to your pastor.
That said,
Have fun, because it's one that biblical scholars have a hard time with. So
the next smaller YouTuber that I wanted to go ahead and shout out while I'm here that I met while we were at the forum is one called Skeptic Infidel. They do not have a lot of content on their channel right now, but they do have a recap of how they felt the Faithless forum went. I'm going to go ahead and link their video for you guys to check afterwards in the actual chat, and then if you look in the description, their video is also in there as well. But they are a couple that we met there. I don't know if the YouTube channel itself is ran by the couple the same way that that Digital Hammurabi is, but the guy in the couple was the one who actually made this video, and they were talking about their experience meeting everybody there and how they felt about it. So if you guys want that, that was also a neat thing for me to hear. Like, seeing people make YouTube videos about meeting the people at the forum is neat, especially when you are one of the people at the forum.
Right.
It helps.
That's really cool. Like, I know that it's a lot of people that I met at the forum that weren't like YouTube personalities already. Like, a lot of the people that were there that I was able to meet were really, really awesome people. And I got to hear a lot of, like, neat stories about deconversion and acceptance, and a lot of things that are really important with respect to the atheist community. And there's one thing actually I want to bring up at some point, because I had some conversations with people about toxicity in the atheist community, and one guy that I think is doing a really good job being proactive about diffusing that is Neil, 604 Atheist.
Neil's got a really good channel.
Yeah. Neil the 604 Atheist is a fantastic channel. He goes through deconversion stories. He's interviewed me. And he is, I think that his approach to discussing deconversion and reasons why, and kind of like general life challenges with that stuff, not only decreases the toxicity because it's not that debate me bro kind of crap, but it also humanizes the journey, which I think is really important. And it's something that I think, as far as like the public image of atheism, it needs more of that kind of thing, because like, the debate me bro kind of thing and science veneration and all that stuff it's useful, it's important, but the human element is often left out of that whole conversation, and Neil tackles it in spades, which I think is really cool.
Oh, yeah, speaking of that, we do have another fan art for anybody who is taking a look. This one is ocean in a bottle.
What the fuck?
It's one bottle of ocean, everybody.
What's the label on it?
Salty ocean.
Do I have hair or is that headphones? I guess that's headphones.
That's headphones.
Okay.
And you're stuck in the bottle, and that's from Kitty, who is the one who made the nightmarish staring Surus that I used in a video recently this week.
I love that salty ocean in a bottle thing. That makes me fucking happy.
Oh, that's perfect. Nita says, sorry if we bothered you guys by spending all day with you. That does not bother me. Okay, look, I'm going to say it now. Hanging out with fans at the Faithless Forum was the part I enjoyed the most. The actual business aspect of it, of like integrating with the other YouTubers and speaking at panels, that was neat. But hanging out with the fans was the best part. When we went to do lunch, we went to do lunch with Skeptic Infidel, Nita, who's in the chat. They're the other half of that channel. And then with Atheist T-Girl, their son, and a few others. We went to the forum, and when we did lunch with them. The only other YouTuber we did lunch with was Courtney from Atheist Edge. Like, hanging out with the fans is what I liked doing more there than anything else. Coming up to me is not a bother in any way, shape, or form.
Right. And yeah, I was always really happy when seeing people that would, like, being recognized at all with the tiny ass channel that I have was really cool. And I also recognize that most of the people that recognize me because of your channel.
That's not. Do you feel like that's a bad thing?
No.
I think we've actually had this conversation a few times where I'm just like, I think that your integration into like this community,
like the Surus universe, yeah,
it just kind of came because you're part of this,
right? No, and this is like, I already had like some relationships with people and some strong friendships before getting involved with your channel, but getting involved with your channel has definitely like solidified that, like, hey, hey, Ocean's not like a fucking anti-atheist nutbag or something like that, because some people had that image of me, and it's more like there are things that I have, or criticisms that I have of like atheism and the atheist movement and all that other crap, but like when it comes to, and this like goes back to what I was saying about Neil when it comes to like that human element and stuff, there's a lot of things about what made people become atheists, or this kind of thing that I think are really, really important to talk about. So, yeah, blur words. Take this from me. I don't know how
I
to
have the best words.
So I guess we can finally get to the actual panels. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, I think the fact that I haven't cared about talking about the panels is indicative of what I prefer doing at the forum.
We had a lot of conversations about the panels.
So the first panel was on debunking woo and the importance of debunking woo, which I guess gets into what Ocean just said about like science veneration, which is part of a part of the atheist movement, always has been. By the way, it wouldn't be as much of a part of the atheist movement if young Earth creationists weren't so virulent. But
no, I fucking know, dude. Like that's the thing. And not only is it just that young Earth creationists exist, but the young Earth creationists want to get their theology into science textbooks to put in your public school classroom. That's the part that makes science veneration such a big thing in the atheist community, and has gotten it to run so close to it to the point where I have some criticisms. But honestly, I don't see, when it comes to the reaction to what it's reacting to, I don't have as much of a problem with it.
No,
because
it's weird because like when you look at it from a sociological perspective and you look at the last like 80 years of the way that this has played out, the whole science being part of atheism or rationality being part of atheism is almost a direct response to the young Earth creationist movement, which is it's that thing that I point out when you've got somebody who's like ridiculously homophobic or ridiculously transphobic and they're hammering that down repeatedly, and then they say, I also hate Pride Month or I also hate Pride parades, and I go, you do realize that it's the mere fact that you exist
that those things are there.
Those things happen. Like the things you say, because you're saying these things as loud and as proud as you are, it's the reason that the reactions exist. If you shut your mouth, you might not have a need for those things.
If there were no homophobes, Pride would be irrelevant.
Correct. However, there are homophobes, so Pride is incredibly relevant. Yeah. It's just like if there were no race realists, there would not be racism.
Right.
But, that's a conversation that I'd like to have at some point. Specifically with somebody who thinks...
That's a big one.
It's a
big into.
Yeah, no, especially if you guys watch Hugo and Jake, the conversation that they had with Jesse Lee Peterson recently.
I am not aware of this. What happened?
They had a debate with Jesse Lee Peterson. And
how did that go?
Well, for one, if there's one thing that I think is hilarious, it's listening and hilarious in a way that it makes me like hurt for humanity, is Jesse Lee Peterson yelling repeatedly that the wall is going up in response to anything they said.
The fuck?
Another thing is that during the course of that conversation, Jesse Lee Peterson essentially admitted, which we already knew this was the case, that he's a white supremacist, though he's black. He's a nationalist, ethno-nationalist, though he's black. And that apparently he's rooting, he thinks that Trump is the great white hope. It's time for a drink. That is a long gulp, sir. That is a long gulp.
Oh.
And it continues. I can't do the thing anymore. There was a point where, like, a very short stint where when I read something really stupid from, like, biblical gender roles, I would slowly let my chair squeak. Just so that would be the only sound that people could listen to, because that's what my brain was doing. But I've since applied WD-40 to my chair, so you can no longer hear the squeak.
We live in such a strange world. Jesse Lee Peterson, I've seen him in like a few videos here and there where he just says some things that are just like really stupid. He was on Non Sequitur show, wasn't he?
He was.
At one point where he was just like saying really dumb shit. I had to look him up real quick. So I was like, and as soon as I saw his face, I was like, oh, that guy. And yeah, he was on, he said some really dumb shit on non sequitur show, and Kyle just like called him out. I fucking love Kyle. That was another person we got to meet in person. It was Kyle Curtis.
Kyle's awesome. It was
Yeah.
me and Kyle had a conversation about polyamory that was interesting. He basically said that I should be insane because one woman drives you insane, so multiple should definitely do so. And I said that you're assuming that I'm sane.
Fair point. Fair point.
So, yeah, no, it was a fun conversation. That was the one that we had in the that was a conversation we had in the car with Aaron, and then Aaron got into his sexual escapades of his youth as a conversation. That was a very interesting talk.
I got to listen to Aaron's discussion of his old parkour adventures. He didn't use the word parkour, but he did say, "I jumped stupidly."
Oh, so parkour.
Across things. Yeah, so parkour. But he was just talking about jumping from one thing to another in really dumb fucking ways, and I was just like, "That's parkour." But yeah, so the panels.
First panel was on debunking Woo, which was fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. We talked about science a little bit.
I got
you were on that panel, right? You were.
I was on that
one panel that you moderated, right?
There's one panel I moderated and one panel I was on specifically. The Behind the says, would it kill YouTube to give notifications of live streams? Yeah, no, I wish it would. But the conversation on Woo, I think the biggest takeaway on that is that like before I could say what I was gonna say, because there was a question on what you thought the most dangerous Woo there was like the most dangerous one in general, and I was going to say faith healing because it hurts kids, but I think that it was Thomas who said I think it was climate change denial, because he was like, look, it doesn't matter if you're an anti-vaxxer if the earth is on fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, climate change, yeah.
And I was like, well, crap, that undermines the one that I thought of. And then I was like, wait a minute, I can one up Thomas. Hold on. and then mine was human exceptionalism. I'm going to do a video on human exceptionalism now because it came up at the forum. Yeah. And me and Cosmic Skeptic both agreed.
People started debating it a little bit.
Yeah,
about human exceptionalism.
It's an interesting conversation, and it's one that me and Cosmic Skeptic both agreed on at that point, which was interesting.
Right. But I think that the human exceptionalism, like disagreeing with it, is a big foundational piece of Cosmic Skeptic's position on veganism, I think. Mm-hmm. Which brings the question, Cirrus, are you going to become a vegan because of human exceptionalism?
Probably not.
Okay. So we can still kill the little animals.
I mean,
heartless
humans
person.
don't have to be exceptional for chickens to taste good.
That's suffering.
Correct. Well, not if it's instantaneous.
I threw my Rationality Rules was hanging out with us, and he's taken kindly to the veganism conversation lately. And I tossed my vegan cat at him. The vegan cat, what I mean by that is like, in a room full of vegans, the way to get them to all start fighting each other is to throw a cat in the room.
Oh, because some are going to take the side of force the cat to comport, and some are going to realize
cat to be a vegan.
Realize that the cat's an obligate carnivore and cannot
feed the cat, or it's immoral to own a cat. And Rationality Rules takes the position that it's immoral to own a cat.
Yeah, we would disagree.
I like, or it's not. I mean, I don't know if he.
I think it's that he
said that he wouldn't own a cat.
If he accepts the hypothetical, then he thinks that the logical conclusion is the immorality of owning the cat.
Right.
As opposed to the suspension of ethics. Because otherwise you have a suspension of ethics.
He also said that he loves cats. So, but there's also like effect of cats on the environment and all this other stuff that he kind of threw in. But it's like, for me, I keep a cat indoors and all that stuff. So a lot of those things aren't an issue. It's just whether or not I can feed it. And, it's an interesting conversation to throw at vegans sometimes. It's just ask them, what do they think of cats? But yeah. Anyway, you were saying getting out of human exceptionalism, going back to the panels.
Yes.
Um,
As far as the panels go, the next panel, I can't even remember what it was. I had the list of the panels that I can just pull up. Problem solved, right? Because I'm definitely professional. Very, very, very professional. Let's look at the what? Is it really not allowing me to? Okay, I'm gonna do a screen share for you guys real quick.
wait, is this website closed down now?
It's not that the website's closed down. Oh no
Uh-huh.
no no no! Display capture here, guys. So this is what my computer's doing. So here, boom, boom. So you guys can see Faithless Forum, which I typed in Faithless Forum because I can't frickin' spell. Faithless Forum. Click. Your connection is not private. Attackers are trying to steal your information from Faithless Forum.
I've gotten that too.
That's weird. Not necessarily like what I thought. We're just gonna proceed anyway. Just screw it.
I don't know how to proceed anyway.
You don't computer, do you? There's a button
Accept
on the lower
risk.
left hand side that you can use. But anyway, the next one after that, we had a trivia game.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the schedule.
And that was the one where Aaron Raw and Matt Dillahunty would basically fight against the audience in trivia, until it was finally Aaron Raw and Matt Dillahunty against each other in trivia.
Because let's face it, those two are like nuts for obscure knowledge.
Yes. Then afterwards, we had the talk about knowledge and evidence and sources and truth from Paulogia, which is really interesting because Paulogia had a very like ridiculously nuanced version of truth that he used for a definition. Hello.
Yeah, I remember seeing the definition and being like, what is that what was the definition that he used?
It was a variation on truth is that which comports to reality, but it was that, but said in quite a few more words in a way that it covered more ground.
I think it was like it included like the use of data, right, or something like that.
I think so.
Are you about to get up?
Me?
Okay, no, never mind.
No, I'm not.
I just saw Pam boop you, and then you looked like you were about to leave. I was like, oh no.
Hammered Out's canceled, guys.
Welcome to the Ocean Show with hammers.
The Ocean Show with Hammers. Is that what it's going to be called now? So wait, if I do the show just by myself, is it the Surah Show with Hammers?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
It's called Seriously what?
Seriously outclassed.
Seriously outclassed by the show with Ocean with Hammers. Okay. Now, can
I
I
win.
chuck this at you?
I win. So the next one was How Different Are We? With Eric Murphy.
I wasn't much of a fan of that one myself.
It was the one with like all the standing and sitting.
Yes. That was the
Yeah.
one that made Faithless Forum feel a bit like church.
I felt the same way. I think I even said to Eric Murphy that that segment reminded me of one of the cool churches. You know what I mean?
And it's like
Like it needed a rock band playing in the background.
I recognize what he was attempting to do there.
No, I
And
do too.
I just didn't like it, and I still do not like it because I think it's a bit antithetical to the ideas that you're trying to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, we're mostly individuals, and hey, we can work in a group, and hey, we're not really like the church, but here's the stuff we do.
Here's the calisthenics approach to theology.
Yeah, and I just wasn't like I love
But
Eric.
I
as a
get what he
person.
was trying to do, though. It's not too bad, but it was
Yeah.
it was kind of trying to show unity by having everybody stand up and reveal to each other that they faced a lot of the same problems. So I get that part, but I agree with you that the format was very churchy.
Yeah, and I like if that appealed to some people, that's cool. There are some people that it probably appealed to greatly. Just me personally, I was just sitting there like, yes, Pastor Eric. Yes, Pastor Eric. The next time we have a conversation, I'm going to point that out to him. I'm just going to be like, yes, Pastor Eric, how you doing?
I think I did point that out to him. I was just like, it's a little like it felt like there was a old culty church that I went to that did a lot of that kind of stuff. There's two of them, one called the Rock and one called the Torch, And if you go to a Christian, just a lookout for you guys. You go to a Christian building that's built like a box, doesn't have any windows, and there's a rock band playing. Run. Fucking run. But the feel of that particular talk was very much like the sermons of those kind of churches, and that's the part that made me just go, oh, no.
There was,
but I expressed that to him.
After that, there was one on channel style and building your brand and getting involved. That one was done with Prophet Azad and Rationality Rules, Rachel Oates, which I think is funny because Rachel Oates was basically went with the tactic of, I had no idea what I was doing. Prophet Azad did the same thing. I accidentally stumbled into a brand. Like, both of them had we accidentally stepped into our areas.
So Rachel Oates did it with a degree in the subject, though.
Yes, and she recognized that by doing variety on her channel early on, that would allow her to not burn herself out.
Correct. And that's something a lot of people get trapped.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I've made sure.
Like Rationality Rules can't make a video without him debunking something.
Now that he's done that, yeah, this is the reason why I've got variety episodes on my channel. Some of them don't perform as well as others, but I do that so that I'm not locking myself into a corner,
right?
Where I'm not where somebody can go, because this is the thing that I got early on when I started doing that. What does this have to do with atheism? It has to do with me, and I'm an atheist, so you can either watch it or heck off,
right?
Like,
You would like this, baby.
but. After that, there was a panel, or the panel for dealing with extremism, or that was less a panel, that was more just Telltale talking about it, where he basically did a lot of talking about Stephen Hassan's bite model. Hello, cat child. He does not seem happy. He does not seem happy. Why are you putting cat junk in my face? Why is this a thing?
I don't know what's happening.
Because every stream that you're in needs to have some amount of cat.
I mean, I don't disagree with you.
That's true.
I don't disagree with you at all. I would just rather it be Gigi, because Gigi will actually sit here with me and be part of the show. But no, talking about extremism, that was Telltale, and it was mostly dealing with Stephen Hassan's bite model, and I liked that.
Applying it to Jehovah's Witnesses, right?
Not just Jehovah's Witnesses, but also just like how this functions in general for cults. Just good. And also, if you haven't seen...
love bombing and that kind of stuff, yeah.
If for some reason you don't watch Telltale... one of the things that hello Gigi, hi girl, how's it going? Hey, how you doing? One of the things that he gets into though is how he's, at least on his channel, he does this thing with the bite model where he applies a Fibonacci sequence to it, basically just kind of a rating. So when he tackles anything that's that may or may not be a cult, he doesn't just do a few check marks and say, okay, it comports to the bite model. He goes, okay, right, how extremely does this comport to the bite model, and what's the final score here? And at what point can we take that score and say, no, it's a cult? I think he does a lot of good work refining Hassan's bite model. Yeah,
because if you're applying a score to each one, rather than just saying, like, because there's different kinds of behavioral control, right? And there's different kinds of extremities to it. Within heathenry, there was a group that I was a part of that I think did some things that were like that, but it wasn't it wasn't like theodism in heathenry, which is definitely cultish. It's like right in the bite model where they control things you wear, they control things you do, they control what your beard looks like, they control, like, there's all kinds of stuff like that. And, there's different levels of harm when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I think that just because something isn't overtly the bite model doesn't mean that it's not a problem. You know what I mean? And I think that Telltale is recognizing that and entering that into the conversation.
Which is a good thing to do, because that gives you nuance as opposed to just doing this trap that I've seen a lot of people get into, where they say that Christianity is a cult. Stop.
Generally, no, it's not.
Yeah, generally no, and this is a conversation I had on Twitter with a user who I'm not going to name because I have no reason to shame the person, but it's a conversation that I've had with them on Twitter where it was me and Reformed Christian apologist and them arguing over whether or not Christianity was a cult, and I said, under what what pretense would you call Christianity a cult? And they said the bite model. And I said, cool, because by the bite model, Christianity by itself is not a cult. Just by the bite model, unless you're trying to espouse.
I think that with that, any religion by itself isn't going to be a cult, right? Mormonism isn't a cult because you can be a Mormon without being in the church, right? You could be an independently practicing Jehovah's Witness, but if you are part of the organization, I think that when you start pulling out the bite model and being like, here's check marks or scores or whatever, it needs to be, okay, does this organization go along with those? And that's when you get into Jehovah's Witness, the church that's supported by the Watchtower, or whether or not the Catholic Church is part of the bite model. I don't think the Catholic Church is. I think that the Watchtower is. So you know what I'm saying? Like you need to be, rather than just saying Christianity, especially something as broad as Christianity, which is a religion that's perfectly fine with independent practitioner, and
not to mention
has
you could just get into something
organizations. Like if you go to an Episcopalian church, that's not going to be the fucking bite model. Whereas some versions, there's some
even if you
Christian
get into
churches
like a
that are
Methodist
going to be like 100% the bite model. Like you get Jonestown, which was Christian.
Like take a Pentecostal church and then take a Methodist church.
Right.
Like go to one, then go to the other, and you tell me which one of those is going to.
They're not the same thing.
They're
right.
very different. And when they're in that conversation, they said, "Name me one Christian denomination that's not a cult." And I was just like, "Fine, let's fucking Methodist."
Episcopalian,
just
sometimes Southern Baptist.
And it was very agitating to have that conversation, and it's a conversation that other YouTubers have had with this person, and they actively deny it and say that it's that the bite model works for them. But this is a person who is either a Poe or incredibly dishonest. Again, not going to name their name. No point in doing so.
I don't even know who you're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I can tell you afterwards.
Do I know who I'm talking about?
No, you don't.
Do I know this person?
Okay, I've never seen you interact with this person ever.
Got it. And I have no clue.
Yeah, no, but this is a person that's the YouTubers that I know that have spoken to him that I can name two right now, aside from me. I know that Vice Rhino has, and then I know that he's not an atheist YouTuber, but RCA, Reformed Christian Apologist, who's also a YouTuber. Both of them have spoken with them independently of and with me as well during parts of those conversations, and they always end the exact same way. This person's an atheist, by the way. They're just very
dicky.
Just dicky, very dicky. But the next panel that we had after that was how to deal with personal attacks, which it's a good thing that Rachel Oates was part of that conversation, because if you look at her Twitter, she gets a lot of those.
Wait, what? The personal attacks?
Yes. No, she gets a lot of like, go kill yourselves. She gets a lot of like, if I met you in a dark alley, I would beat you to death. Mm-hmm. Like that type of stuff. And like I've gotten that. Honestly,
the people on that panel get a lot of that. This is the one that was it was Rachel Oates, Christina Rad, Shannon Q, RK. All of those people get so much fucking hate. It's ridiculous how much they get. Like Shannon Q gets a ton, and I think that of the three, she might get the least.
I think so. I think Rachel definitely gets some of the most in there.
Zara K is like she's not like huge. She's not as big as Shannon Q or Rachel Oates or Christina Rad, but I think that the hate that she gets is so much more extreme. Like because she gets death threats like regularly from like Muslim extremists, because she's an ex-Muslim and she's got this activism thing about the hijab.
Yeah, they're not happy about that.
No, it is so incredibly extreme what she gets. But yeah, I think that comes with the territory of being an ex-Muslim. For whatever reason, the hate that you get as an ex-Muslim is so much more extreme than as an ex-Christian.
I mean, I think Christopher Hitchens has a really... I think he understands the reason behind that pretty well. Mm-hmm. It's that on the whole, Reformation hasn't happened in the same capacity in Islam in the same way that it has in Christianity. Now, granted, when and if that happens, Islam will have many more splinter groups, because that's what happened with Christianity during Reformation. Is a lot of splinter groups happened, but a lot of times that splintering means that you have just in general a healthier mindset about the community, because that's what happened with Christianity. It was dragged kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
And here we are. That said, we do have a fan
There
art
were a
that came
few
in.
executions. You know.
Well, I was gonna mention the fan art, but then you mentioned death, and I guess that's neat. But the fan art that came in is how I feel some days. If you look at the left-hand corner of the fan art, I've already sandwiched it in there, but it's me just drinking my pain away. Which I don't drink alcohol, but if I did, that picture would be me. Oh wait, no, that's hot sauce. Never mind, that's not alcohol. It's "This will burn away the pain." It's just me drinking hot sauce.
Just drinking hot sauce. Fuck me.
Yeah, no, that's definitely indicative of how I feel sometimes. No, Kate. Bionic Dance has made a suggestion in the chat that I disagree with. I disagree with it heavily, because I disagree with who you're trying to bring up.
What is this going on?
I should call the gender bent version of fan art Sue Ross.
Is this a Bob Ross reference?
It's a Hugh Ross reference.
Oh.
No. Absolutely not.
Hugh Ross is one of those names that I keep hearing a lot, but I actually don't know what it is.
He's an astrophysicist who, though he has a PhD in that, he's almost exclusively a Christian apologist.
University of Toronto, PhD. degree in physics, established his own ministry in 1986. So he accepts scientific consensus on the Big Bang Theory, age of the Earth, and scientific age of the universe. However, he rejects Darwinian evolution and abiogenesis.
Yeah, rejecting abiogenesis is fine, because that's not a theory. Like, that's still in its early stages.
Yeah.
But to accept an old Earth but then reject human evolution, how do you manage that?
I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, that's a I don't know how you managed that at all. That's a cognitive dissonance thing, and that's a cognitive dissonance I'm not a fan of.
Right. I feel that.
But then we had the talk about finding and building a community, again by Eric Murphy, which was much less churchy this time.
Surprisingly, because usually when building community talks winds up being like very Christian-y. But there was something to touch on that a little bit. One of the things that I discovered when going down to visit the ACA is that, the ACA has this external image of Debate Me Bro shows, like call-in shows, where they just basically, Christians call in, they tell them they're wrong, and they hang up on them, and then they move on to the next thing. And then, rinse, repeat, tune in next week, God's still not real. The thing that I found really interesting about the ACA is that it also operates as like a community center for atheists that are ostracized from their own communities to find a new one. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You're reading something. I don't know what's going on with you.
Something. I'll tell you in just a second.
One of the guys that I bumped into is a guy named Tim, who, the reason why I just say Tim, he sat down with a documentarian while we were there, telling a little bit about his story, and his story involves mental illness and Christian response to mental illness, and trying to say that he had this mental illness because he didn't believe in God enough, which is disgusting. But his journey out of that form of Christianity left him like broken, and him going to the ACA has been really good for him in sort of like finding a community of people, kind of like, because he was ostracized, which is terrible for a person in his position. And there's he's not the only story like that in that organization that's come and visited that organization and helped out with it, and that the ACA has been helpful to them. There's a lot of like human stories that the ACA does, but doesn't talk a whole lot about.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of wish they did. I understand why they don't, but that's something that I think I didn't realize was going on so much, and it reminded me of kind of the stuff that pops up with my end of the organization with the religious group that I'm a part of. That often that kind of thing pops up too, where somebody wound up leaving Christianity because of similar kind of crap, where whatever a mental ailment that they had was blamed on their not being godly enough, you know?
Yeah, and that's one. That's a form of victim blaming.
Mm-hmm.
Two, there's a lot of things that is actually.
No, it's a ton of things. All of them are reprehensible,
Yeah.
but it's something that, you know, I didn't. It didn't occur to me that that was something that the ACA focused so much on. That it's just that like they're open as like a little library all the time, and people just come there as a reprieve. And being in Texas, that's important, I think.
Yeah, Texas is the belt buckle of the Bible Belt.
Right. It is the cowboy hat belt buckle of the with little boots hanging off the bottom of it. It's like because yeah, I bumped into some. I think there's a reason why stuff like the ACA, you get Matt Dillahunty, Aaron Ra, Drew, like all these people that are atheist activists. A lot of them are in Texas, and a lot of the ones that aren't in Texas are still in areas that have like really extreme conservative views and lots of Christian culture, and like that pushback against it. You have to be so strong of a pushback in certain situations in order to be like in order to survive almost, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not even a can you be effective at this point. It's a can you actually
can you tread water?
yeah. Can you manage being here long enough to deal with all this crap? Speaking of things that I've managed to be here long enough to deal with, we do have a fan art from Jack that came in that is a hammer with a face because we are doing Hammered Out.
Is it what?
Okay. It's a hammer with a face.
I see that.
It's a hammer with a face, Ocean. It's a hammer with a face.
Hammer with a
Very hammer.
I like
face.
it though.
Yes, the hammer looks very enthusiastic to be part of the show.
Yeah.
And then we've got after that was from Jack, who's one of my patrons as well. After he made that, Kitty was inspired to make another fan art, which is right here. It is a hammer face in Cyrus's hood.
What the fuck? I don't know what's going on there, but I like it.
You don't know what's going on, but it's okay. You don't have
Right.
to know. There is no need for understanding. We also have a 99-cent super chat from Zippy, so thank you very much for that. I'm sad that none of the super chats that have come in have had text for me to read.
Right.
I want some text to read. Oh well. It's fine. It is perfectly fine. That said, the next one that we had here was the conversation strategies with theists, and that was the one that I moderated.
This is the one that I had issues with.
Yes, I think I handled it okay though.
You did. I had issues with the structure. Because I think that you should have been on the panel.
I would have preferred being on the panel, honestly. Because like, what am I doing right now? I'm having a conversation.
You're having a conversation with a theist.
But I have no issue with the fact that I was moderating. I would have liked to be part of it, but then again, this is not to say that I wouldn't have liked to be part of almost every panel.
Right.
So that said, did enjoy moderating for this one. I did begin by saying yes, I love being up here and talking with some of my favorite content creators. And then there's Dan.
And also Dan.
Which I basically just kind of sent subtle burns at him the entire time, which is fine because we're friends and we enjoyed that.
Yeah.
We ended up going to
cool
get
people.
sushi afterwards.
I wound up having coffee with him on my way back to Georgia. I swung by a coffee shop near where he lives, and we had good coffee and good conversation. Talked a little bit about street epistemology. Gave him a little shit.
That's about what ours was as well, because we went to, not strictly about street epistemology, that did come up. We had a conversation about having a double date type thing. Me and Raz, and then Aaron obviously had to come along as well, and then him and his girlfriend Christy, and we went to this Hawaiian sushi place that was really good. They sold what's called a poke bowl. And,
yeah, I've had those.
And the poke bowl that I got, though, they had a ghost pepper lava bowl that was great. And
You and fucking ghost peppers.
ghost pepper lava sushi is just so good. I want to do that again. I got shrimp and spicy salmon covered in ghost pepper lava sauce. I need to do that again.
Lava sauce.
It burns the gut, but it's so good. Icarus says, are we going to be able to watch those panels somewhere? So the panels themselves, there's a few things that have happened. One, we don't have a master audio file. We're trying to find who has the best audio for that. We thought we had a master audio file. That went out the window. Two, we have all the footage. So my footage, which was 85 gigabytes worth of HD footage, Aaron Raw's footage, which was the entire ordeal, and then footage from the people who are doing the Netflix documentary over at the Faithless forum. We're trying to combine all of that into one thing where we can send the episodes off to the individual speakers for them to put on their channels. Those will come out when the Faithless forum board is done with the footage and can send it out, but until they're done with the footage and can send it out, I cannot show it on my channel. Even though I have all the footage on my drive ready for use, I cannot show it until that is done. Which sucks because I really want to show that clip of Seth Andrews mispronouncing my name and the entire audience correcting him. Which was that was a beautiful moment.
How did he pronounce your name? Like Surus?
It's Sirat. No, it's Surus. But we do have super chats. The first one is from Kate Snyderman, and what voice should I use for this one? What voice should I do? Actually, you know what, Ocean? You need to read this one in your Jordan Peterson voice.
Which one?
The one from Kate Snyderman. I just had my first, or Snyderman.
Oh, I just had my first street epistemology with a theist, and your videos really helped with it. Thank you. I responded. I'm a heavy critic of street epistemology personally. And someone saying I don't look heavy. Well, thank you, but I definitely have issues with it. I think that it has some consent problems when engaging with conversation, like hide the ball kind of stuff with it. I think that it's not epistemology.
That's my big critique of it. That's the one that I said to Dan. That street epistemology, paradoxically, is not epistemology, because epistemology is your personal theory of truth, and street epistemology has nothing to do with yourself as a person. It's entirely reflective of the person you're speaking to.
Mm-hmm.
So paradoxically, street epistemology isn't about your personal theory of truth.
My issue with it is that the language that's often that's trained in approach of like how you do it is a lot of sales tactics that are used in order to insert verificationism. So it's
sales tactics mixed with the Socratic method. It's those two things
with a biased form of the Socratic method that's leaning onto a certain form of like verificationism. So I don't have there are things that street epistemology I think that can take care of that are super positive. I think it should be used with anti-vaxxers, for example.
Yes.
And I bring that up a lot. That when dealing with scientific claims, it's great. When dealing with things that are not scientific claims, such as when dealing with gods or spirituality, or it's something that it doesn't work as well.
And it can
inspires a
backfire
category
too.
error.
It can backfire too.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got somebody who has dealt with street epistemologists before, especially a well-trained one, like say Anthony Magnabosco, somebody's had a lot of interactions with them, and you try doing the street epistemology thing with them, it's not going to go very well.
I've had people like I ran an experiment with it, just being like, do street epistemology with me, right? And the conversation happened, and there's been a couple of experiences that I've had with this, and my observation with it is that street epistemology works better when the interlocutor is unsuspecting, which means it depends on a lack of consent to have the conversation in order to work. That's my big problem with it, because it intends to sneak up on you.
That said, we do have another super chat, and this one is from Zippy. I'm gonna go ahead and use the brain. I'm gonna go ahead and use the master apologist voice for this one, the Barney voice. The YouTube premium freebie super chats don't let me send a message. My message is dicks. Have fun, and I love your content. This message contained copious amounts of penis. 10 out of 10. And we have another super chat that came in, but I'm going to wait on doing that one because we have a $10 one that just came in, so the robot voice is going to take over first. It's going to do its thing.
I can't hear the robot.
You're not going to be able to, but it's going to be there in a
I
second.
just can't hear it.
Well, it'll be a second before it actually pops up. I can go ahead and do Pine Snakes then.
Pine Snake.
Yeah, Pine Snake. Oh, there it is.
Gonna be in China for a bit, guys, so have fun, you pretty people.
All right, we'll get to the $10 one here in a second. The Pine Snake one is... brain. I'm going to do Dr. Claw. I'm going to do Dr. Claw for this one.
Cirrus and Ocean on Truth Wanted for the win.
I think that you and I being on Truth Wanted would be kind of fun.
It would be very fun.
That like you and I sitting with Dan. I have criticisms of street epistemology. I know he doesn't want me to like go on my fucking diatribe while I'm on his show, but someone's saying street epistemology is similar to random street preachers and interviewers. Here's my distinction with that. Okay, a street preacher versus a street epistemologist. The street epistemologist depends on you not knowing what's going on. The street preacher, you do. So the street preacher, if you want to engage with a street preacher, they might be yelling at you, and we talk about like the consent issue, right? The consent to have the conversation that's being had. The street preacher is upfront about what their intentions are. You know exactly what's going on when a street preacher just starts accosting you. With a street epistemologist, it's a little bit more sneaky. So, they want to slide into the conversation without you really knowing what it's going to be about. And there's even stuff there's not the manual for creating atheists, but there's another manual that's shared among them that's been compiled by Magnabosco that includes things like don't let them ask you questions. You're the one asking questions, like you're conducting an interview. So it's not an equal conversation. That's an issue that I have with it. It winds up, there's a lot of dishonesty, lack of consent, and then there's the philosophical issues on top of that I know, Cyrus, you tackle. But my issues are more about like the kind of interaction that it's founded upon.
We have another
as far as
that came in that I think explains how you feel right now. Take a look. It's from Spooky Boy Ray, which means it's going to be good.
I love that.
This is chill.
Spooky Boy Ray is one of my favorite fucking people. Like,
there we go. The hammer's going to be up there. This is chill.
I fucking love Spooky Boy Ray.
No, their fan art's always great. So we're just going to have that one there. This is chill.
It's the most amazing shit.
There's so much stuff I have just crammed there.
All of that aside, people know, and Dan is aware of what my criticisms of street epistemology are. All that aside, I'd be happy to be on Truth Wanted with you and me sitting there with him. Because I think that the way that he's approaching things is way different from Boghossian, even and still different from Magnabosco. Because I think that
Dan's version of it is very honest.
I think so, and especially because the way he's conducting it is doing a call-in show, so the consent issue that I have with it is out the window. It
Yeah,
doesn't
because
apply.
they're approaching him.
Right.
They're coming to him knowing how this conversation is going to go.
Exactly.
It's a lot different than accosting somebody on the street. It's the reason why early in my channel I wanted to do like man on the street interview stuff. And then I'm going to take that from my Patreon and move that away because I've realized now that that's less what I want to do. Because I can talk to an individual person like that, or I can talk to an audience and I can interact with the individuals who want to come to me instead. I feel like that's a better approach to me. The next one we have, the next super chat that came in is from Excellence USAF. And Ocean, is there a voice you want to use for this one?
What is this? I don't know. I'm gonna do Jar Jar Binks.
Oh God, no!
Excuse me, I'm gonna be in China for a bit, guys. So you have fun, you pretty people. Woohoo!
Stares in Phantom Menace.
You still have no problems with the Jar Jar Binks. You're still gonna get it. You're still gonna get it from me.
That's like Stitch cosplaying as Jar Jar Binks.
That's exactly what it is. Oh,
We're not using voice modulators.
We can make it more Stitch.
Like that.
Shannon Q, kill it with fire. No.
Zippa Boy Shane Shark says that I had a badass Dr. Claw. I'm not happy about that. It hurts the back of my voice, so I can. Balmon. What in tarnation? Ocean. So SN Balmog in the chat goes, how do you feel about there being young Earth creationists and flat earthers in positions of power? Oh God. Damn it, I didn't do it in a voice. I've made mistakes. I guess I'll just go ahead. How do you feel about there being young Earth creationists and flat earthers in positions of power in the United States and in Brazil?
Was that Kermit the Frog or Brett Kavanaugh? I couldn't tell.
I like beer.
I like beer. So so it says, how are you? Shannon Q is disappointed in Ocean. How are you? So
speaking of disappointment in Ocean,
I think that for longest time I thought that the young Earth creationist debate was overdone with and stupid and irrelevant, and then Mike Pence became vice president, and like it's more relevant than I thought it was. Realizing that, because it's like, yeah, sure. As far as like the YouTube conversation goes, there's not very many people that are defending creationism very well, but it doesn't change the fact that it's fucking everywhere and that it's in positions of power.
Just remember to take a look at the live stream when it goes
That
up.
is what the living fuck. I love that.
You are a hammer, and this is chill. This one was from Clory17.
This is pretty chill, turning me into a hammer and applying chill to my.
We'll apply chill here.
Created. What has happened?
Chill, apply directly to the forehead.
Chill.
You always get fan art on these.
I know, it's fun. I mean, I am co-hosting, so I guess it's fair that I get a little.
It's only fair.
Really funny. I need to post this is chill thing on my Twitter. The one that Spooky Boy did. Just because that is fucking funny.
That needs to be your profile picture for a bit. Just you as the hammer. This is chill.
Actually, you know what? Deal.
But how do I feel about there being young Earth creationists and flat earthers myself? In Brazil, I don't know, because I don't know about the socioeconomic state of that country. I'm more focused on the United States because I live here. Ocean is changing his thing to the hammer, I can tell. But as far as the United States, I think that them being in positions of power here is absolutely dangerous, because I'm for education. I'm for better education. And if you have young Earth creationists who are wanting to push that narrative on other people in the education system, you cause a lot of problems. And I would really prefer them not cause those problems. But unfortunately, here we are. So, yeah, no, I would prefer them not be in power. And if I had the ability if somebody knows like how I can get in contact with like sitting in front of Congress and speaking to them myself, or speaking even if just at a local level, especially with like the heartbeat bill that's been trying to pass here recently, which I'm not doing right now. I'm not having the conversation right now because I'm going to be doing that in a separate episode. That's a separate issue. I would like the opportunity to speak to the people who run this state myself if I had the chance to, and I would willingly do so.
I'm back. What did you say?
And so, incredibly out of touch with reality for HistoryNet. Incredibly out of touch with reality is a problem for the individual, but dangerous is a problem when we're talking about legislation. If we're talking about legislation that allows YEC to be taught in schools, then it goes from out of touch with reality to dangerous. Excellence USSAF just says you need to just go yell at Kemp. You okay, Ocean? Nobody can hear you. You've done things.
I did it. Okay, I'm back. There's a whole bunch of reasons why I want to yell at Kemp. 'Cause he's a fucking idiot.
Nathaniel Walter says this is my wheelhouse. Nathaniel, you and I need to have a conversation about how I can best go about this when we are done here. Also, by the way, for those who do not know, because I haven't officially announced this on my thing yet, I need to put more fan art in because Bionic Dance made fan art. But for those who don't know, Bionic Dance is the fan art coming in here in a second. Nathaniel is going to be doing a debate/discussion with Epichrist on my channel tomorrow. So
wait, who's doing a debate with Epichrist?
Nathaniel Walters.
Good luck.
Yeah, no, I've already told them about how this conversation is going to go, considering that the last time when Epichrist was trying to deal with like the issue of the Shroud of Turin with me, and I asked him to give me peer-reviewed papers, they sent me a notepad document that they wrote themselves.
A notepad document.
So,
did the document have like links, or was it just descriptions of things?
It's just descriptions of things.
God damn it!
I have it in my email somewhere. I can send it to you if you want. If you want to laugh. But no, they're going to be having a discussion on my channel. But we do have
Kate Snyderman gives a $5 tweet saying that, or a $5 thing, saying that she may have used the wrong word and mostly just asked one question to a willing participant.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's just having a conversation with people you don't know. Street epistemology is like a very specific method, and they're very open about it being a method. And there's a manual for it, and then there's like a practice, and people want to, there's like a whole thing. It's a community, and I've got my issues with it, but I know I've already stated them, so I don't want to do it again.
Bionic Dance has submitted a fan art that is me holding a hammer, going "Bad Bionic Dance, no cookie." Kate, I have a question. So, I love the fan art, first of all. One, you've had the opportunity of actually meeting me in real life, so you know for a fact that I'm not that chiseled. Secondly, and it's not even an opportunity, it's more of a curse, really, if you think about it. People who can avoid meeting me in real life, please do so. It's not a good thing. Anywho, the other thing is, you are saying that I wouldn't let you have a cookie. I threw a bag of cookies at you at the Faithless Forum on video. There is a section where the cookie thing is brought up, and I literally run up and throw a bag of cookies at Bionic Dance. I gave you cookies.
Cookies were involved. No cookies were harmed in the making of this video.
We also, actually in the chat, we also have Nicholas. If you guys do not know who Nicholas is, he recently debated S.J. Thomason over on Modern Day Debate, and that was a very knockdown conversation. I enjoyed watching it.
The Nick whatever, what's his name? That was a Nick Soder, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I saw that it was happening. I haven't seen the debate yet.
During the debate, so S.J. Thomason has a lot of like sources for her conversations that she's cherry-picked data from to make her argument. Nick printed out every source she's ever used and had them on his table when he went into the
I
debates.
had some idea that was going to happen.
It was
I heard
great
about what was going on, and yeah, it was a good idea. It was a fucking fantastic idea. I haven't seen it. I had like a reaction to the resolve of the debate that kind of, it was just like meh. Which is, it's a personal pet peeve of mine, and I don't know if Nick did it. Which is that a lot of times atheists will try and use polytheistic traditions as like a blunt instrument against Christianity, and it seemed to be like whether or not religion was needed, which I think is a strange thing to debate in general. But if like, it seemed more, from what I've heard, it seemed more that the point of that debate was to get SJ into a position in which all the claims that she's made could be asked about, because a lot of the citations that SJ gives are very like generalized religion citations, which doesn't really help in the position of like saying Christianity is true or something like that. But or that Christianity specifically is more helpful than any other religion. But and Nick is saying that he didn't choose the topic, and that's okay, fine. So, that's tends to be my frustration with that kind of thing, though, is that often you see this with like whenever Easter and Christmas come around, that atheists will suddenly start saying like, look, their Christians are celebrating paganism, while at the same time I think that a lot of like respect that should be given to paganism just isn't present in those conversations. So there's my rant.
Speaking of respect that needs to be given, apparently you have unlimited cosmic power in an itty bitty living space. You remember the bottle?
It's the bottle. Yeah.
Remember the bottle? The bottle? Have you seen the fan art that's up right now? It has been expanded.
Oh, has it?
The lore has been expanded.
Let's see. Oh my God. I love that. I fucking love that.
Infinite cosmic power. Yeah, bitty tiny
that
face.
is amazing.
That is from Jack and Quill, who I actually had the opportunity.
Straight up amazing. I fucking love that.
I had the opportunity to meet Jack and Quill at the Faithless Forum as well. Not at the forum itself. They made it right after the forum, and then were there for the after party, so we got to hang out for a few hours. They were awesome. It was also very weird to sit there as somebody was drawing fem fan art of me, like literally a few seats away. Like, I live in a world where this is a thing I have to deal with. But yeah, no, the infinite cosmic power thing is just great.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Like, that's up there with like me coming out of a pie screaming "fuck Nazis." Like, that's like, that is just.
Which that one was from Spooky Boy Ray, I believe.
I think that was not Spooky Boy Ray. That was somebody else.
Are we sure? Hold on, I got this. Hold on. I have it in my other folder. No, it was not Spooky Boy Ray, because that's not Ray's not Ray's art style. But right. I do have that one right here.
The fuck Nazis one?
Yes, I do. I keep all the fan art organized in folders. So
yep.
Here you are, guys.
Yeah, so now my two favorite fan arts of me are on the page at the same time.
But that way you guys can see that.
God, that's amazing.
Yeah, infinite cosmic power. You have infinite cosmic power. Tiny itty bitty living space.
That's so fucking funny. I need to send that to my roommate right now. My roommate designed the ocean.
It lends itself
avatar
really well to being a genie.
Yeah, right. It does, because it's got the bangles and everything. So the guy that made that is a guy named Tipsy Danger on Instagram. And if you go to any of my videos, in the description, there's a link to Tipsy's Instagram, and the ocean cartoon avatar is on his Instagram. So flood it with comments. But I'm gonna send this to him because it's just like right up his alley. Where the fuck is it? There it is. Because he wasn't aware that there was fan art being made of his work.
He was
he did not realize it. He just was like, yeah, here you go, do a thing for your channel. And then he's like aware of a few videos on my channel. But he didn't realize that there was like a culture forming around it.
But that said, we do have a few other panels we do need to get to. As much as
Yeah,
we've
yeah,
been,
yeah. That's right. That's we're doing a stream on Faithless Forum right now. We should get back to that.
yeah, probably. We derailed a bit, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So after the conversation strategies conversation, that was redundant. There was an activity where we interview you, which that was the one where I got to throw cookies at Bionic Dance. There was also one in there. So they would ask questions about the different YouTubers, and they would ask questions to the actual audience. Like they would bring up an audience member and have a YouTuber interview one of their audience members, one of their fans, and a question got brought up during there that was something along the lines of, does Cirrus use his hammer? If Cirrus's hammer is so large in proportion to his body, is he compensating for something? And that was when Holy Kool-Aid was on there. I just ran up and slammed my hammer on the table. So there's a video.
I remember that because like I saw that question. I was like, this is not the best time to ask this question. And then I saw you like march past me. Like, you held up your you go, hold on. Went down. Got the hammer and marched back up. I was just like, that's funny.
Yep, that's I did a lot of that. Nita in the chat pointed out how much I trolled during I did a lot of trolling at the forum. There was a part where Drew was talking about how tired he was. I threw a 5-hour energy at him on the Woo panel. There was the throwing cookies at Bionic Dance or slamming my hammer down on the table there. I had a lot of fun. Like I had more fun doing the things I wasn't supposed to do. Which I think might be a bad thing. Is that a sign of me being like really, really bad? Or is that a good thing? I'm confused.
I think you're just a terrible person, but we already knew that going in, right?
I mean, I'm an atheist, so I guess I'm
right.
a
You don't have any grounding of morality.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I just realized I wasn't following Neil on Twitter. That needs to change.
Yup. That said, this was just submitted in here. This is technically like outside of the normal wheelhouse for fan art stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
Only because it was done a while ago, but it is the first time I've seen it in this server. So if you guys haven't seen Ocean's avatar as drawn by Spooky Boy Ray here.
Are you talking about like the really crazy artsy one?
Yeah, the one where you're coming out of the ocean.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like,
that one's just great.
There's some really awesome stuff that's been made of this character, and that was one that I showed my roommate, and he was just like, "What is going on the internet right now?" Like he straight up was impressed with that one. It's just like this. They're putting this like avatar in like worlds and stuff like that. It's really cool.
I have to say that because like there's a decent bit of cross pollination between your fans and my fans.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so fucking happy for my fan base. Like, I love you guys.
Yo, I do too. I've straight up like, and the cross pollination I think is good because our channels are like, they're compatible, and there's a bromance between the channels.
Oh boy, I have a thing I got to put up here.
Our channel should cuddle, Cirrus.
Our channel should cuddle. 10 out of 10. Oh my gosh.
What is this?
This is chill.
What in the world? It's a GIF.
It's a GIF.
I'm like looking around.
It's a GIF. This one is from Kitty. That is excellent.
That's amazing. What is happening?
I need more of this. This is the most fan art we've ever received in a single episode.
Right. No, it's true.
And I've had to shove so much into that little box.
Inundated.
That little box is not big enough.
And we're just talking about going to a con. So
that's all we're doing. We're just going. We're not even doing like anything ridiculously informative. We're just talking about a convention that we attended. But so the next thing we had was talk about finding purpose and motivation as a secular activist. That was from Rachel Oates,
which I liked.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then after that, we had after that was just a 90-minute dinner break where we all had burritos and tacos. Unless there's anything specifically about the finding the purpose portion that you wanted to talk about, Ocean.
Not really. I'm just remembering the dinner break. Oh yeah, we did have burritos. That's right. We had it was Chipotle. We had little. I had a taco bowl. That's the reason why I don't remember it. Um, and then the kicking off, um, was with Guess Who's Hate comment.
Hosted
That
by
was a
Seth
good
Andrews.
Labor Day thing to do. And Seth Andrews is a good host.
He has the most silky smooth voice for doing
Yeah,
video
it's true.
presentations.
It's true.
And it was I was sad though. I submitted a lot of hate comments, and like I wanted some of the worst ones to get up there because I'm that masochistic. And yeah, no, it was almost all my tame ones that made it in. But that's fine. Most of the hate comments were tame, and they only had a handful of them up there, and they needed to have more because there was like just enough to where there were 5 to 10 minutes left after Seth Andrews was done with them. So I think we needed to have more hate comments during that, which
Yeah.
I would have liked. Chloe in the chat says the new religion is fan art where we loot and draw everything. Basically, I have been accused of being a cult leader before. Then the next thing after guessing the hate comment, we had the panel.
I haven't been. Okay, anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Had the panel how to live in a religious world and coping with extremists. That one was Prophet of Zod, Genetically Modified Skeptic, Telltale, and Paul from Pelagia, moderated by Dan. And that's probably one of the best groups you could have for that because Zod was from Pentecostalism, Telltale was from Jehovah's Witnesses, Paul was a Mennonite, and then you have Drew, which I believe Drew's was like really Baptist.
Drew's was really Baptist, but also Drew has a lot of like, is really familiar with culty schemes.
Yeah, because of he deals with MLMs a lot on his channel.
Yeah, and he
Multi-level
also
marketings.
right, and he's also a big promoter of the bite model.
Yeah, so that was probably the best group they could have gotten for that. Like that was a very well put together one.
We have Christopher Hansen says, "Cirrus, you're a cult leader, and you know it."
See, you have to hold on. Cirrus, you're a cult leader, and you know it. Metal Gear. I'm not sick. I can do Solid Snake's voice when I'm sick. I can't do it when I'm well.
You're always sick.
Guys, please send like the flu to me randomly so I can do a Metal Gear Solid voice. No, please don't. Don't do that. That's not a thing I would rather you do. Then we had, after another break, there was the Talk is Morality objective, and that was the conversation between Alex O'Connor and Rationality Rules. That conversation was basically me and Ocean sitting in the back whispering to each other over all the things we disagreed with.
Yep, because we disagreed, I think, with the entire conversation.
Yeah.
But now they agree with each other, which is really fun. But both of us like subtly disagree with both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like I would like to have a conversation with them now about this because this has gone, like it has gone the direction that it has. But that's a thing for future.
Yeah.
That's a thing for the future. After that, there was the closing talk,
and also after Rationality Rules addresses things.
Yes. After that, there was the closing talk.
2 years later, Rationality Rules still hasn't addressed this video.
I really hope that's not. I don't think that's going to be the case. I
don't think
it's
it's
going
gonna
to
be
address
the
it
case
soon.
Yeah.
I
I would expect that it comes out this week.
I would say within 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then there was the after party after the closing talk and finale with everybody. There was the after party at Kona Grill, which was great because all you can eat Chinese food is fucking excellent.
Yes.
That's probably because Chinese food is the fastest way into my heart. Like,
Oh, that's okay. I didn't eat there.
really? You didn't go?
No, I didn't eat. I
Oh.
drank a lot.
But no food?
Viking. But yeah, I had martinis. And there was a table with me. You were there, as well. It was me, you, Prophet of Zod, Bionic Dance, and Apologia. We're all sitting together, getting drunk.
Yes.
That was a good table.
That was a fun table. In fact, actually, the photo that we took while we were at the table, I'm going to go ahead and put that up here. Were you? Yes, you were in that picture. Aha! Here we are, everybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull this up.
The power table of fun.
Yeah,
There's me, Ocean, Paulogia, Shannon Q, Bionic Dance, and Prophet of Zod, all just sitting at a table together, eating and drinking.
Yep.
Like that was excellent. That picture is the background photo for my Facebook now because it has to be. It absolutely has to be.
it's a good little moment. It's a honestly, like, I don't know. I was really happy to be like part of this little community in this grid. Like that's hanging out and drinking with everybody was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
And there's like
the
so
new
many
guard.
people that I'd known for a long time that I had not, like, I'd communicated a lot, especially with Shannon. Shannon and I have like flung messages back and forth with each other for a long time. And the like meeting her and meeting all these other people that there wasn't a awkward like just meeting people moment. Everybody just kind of jumped in and were immediately friends. Even if we hadn't met for the first time. We had like met for the first time, but there was already all this like background to our friendships, and we just jumped in. The person at that table that I'd had no real communication with prior to this was Prophet Azad.
Really?
And I didn't know Apologia too well. Prophet Azad and I hadn't communicated.
So that's weird because that's kind of paradoxical because Prophet of Zod is the first person in the greater atheist community that I had conversations with. Like the earliest collaboration on my channel was one with Prophet of Zod because there was a video that I wanted to make that I never got around to that I asked if Godless Cranium would be a voice in, and it was the first message I'd ever sent to Godless Cranium. As far as I remember, there might have been another one, but they said Prophet of Zod was working on a cartoon series, and I would need to talk to him because this is something he's already doing. So then I talked to Prophet of Zod, and that led to our first collaboration, and we've been good friends ever since then. Like I fucking love the guy. So the fact that you guys haven't talked is weird to me because he's somebody that like he's the first person I talked to.
When I met him, he was the only one that like I had that like, you know, I don't know who you are kind of like phase with. And then we ate together at that temple that Aaron Ra took us to.
Yes, the Hindu temple.
Yeah. And we sat across from each other and we got along really well. Another person that I wound up getting along with more after the event that I didn't think I'd get along well with is Holy Kool-Aid.
Thomas is really fun to hang around.
Yeah. No, he's a really chill dude. And there's that word again, chill.
This is chill.
This is chill. And like, you know, he's somebody that a lot of the content that he's created I probably have the most disagreements with. But personally, hanging out with him like human to human was very positive. So, yeah.
Yeah. This is the second time that I got to hang out with Thomas. I didn't get to hang out with him as much as you did because we had to leave after Sunday. So we didn't get to do the whole stuff at the Atheist Community of Austin, which sucked.
I
like
went on a hiking trip and we went shooting together at a shooting range.
Like I kept looking at pictures of things that were happening, and I'm like, I wish I could have gone.
Right.
I wish I could have gone. But we weren't able. I wasn't able to, especially considering like we came down, all of us, just ridiculously sick as soon as we woke up Monday. Mm-hmm. So there's like this 3-day gap of videos not being able to be released on my channel because I couldn't. I had the ability to stay up long enough to do a live stream, and then I was passed back out again because everything was wrecked. Like my sleep schedule right now is not what it is supposed to be. As a result, like I've been sleeping during the time that Gaelic Knox is awake, and then awake during the time she's asleep, which has not been cool. It's not been great. So yeah, no, it's been awkward. That sickness didn't help. But that all said, the time that I was able to spend with everybody, I enjoyed. It was not as awkward for me because I had met a lot of these people at the first Faithless forum. So there's at least that. Also, we do have a super chat from Excellence USAF. This one, I guess we'll go ahead and do Shaco from League of Legends. Who actually thinks Aaron was a real child and not just a mini version of his current self with a long hair and all? Okay. I'm done.
I believe that just as I was born bald with a beard, Aaron Raw was a mini version of himself this whole time. The fan art of that will be incoming of tiny ocean with this bald with a beard. Another thing, someone says there's more Zod collabs. Prophet Zod and I talked while we were at Faithless Forum, and I think that there'll be some collabs in the future. It's just I gotta get in contact with the guy.
I've got one
thing
planned with him as well right now. We talked about it at the forum. So many Zod collabs coming out.
Yeah. And there's a funny moment. Was we took we went. I mentioned that Thomas and I went shooting. We brought with us all the Brits. So, Rachel Oates, Rationality Rules, and Rationality Rules' I believe girlfriend, Hannah, came along with us, and we're all shooting various weapons. And the one funny thing is, it's interesting seeing British people with guns because a lot of them have never shot them before, and we learned them how to do things. And it was really funny seeing Rationality Rules realize how hard it is to shoot like a high-powered rifle, and then
especially
seeing
the kickback that comes from one.
Right.
The shoulder. You haven't fired a real rifle until your shoulder dislocates.
Right. And it's the highest power thing that we shot, for anybody that's wondering, is an AK-47. We shot a semi-automatic AK-47, and we started them off with like a 22, and then we got up to an AK-47. And Rationality Rules' reaction to how good of a shot I am it's really funny. Because it was funny him recognizing how difficult it is to shoot, and then seeing me create a nice little grouping. And he's just like, shit, okay, don't fuck with Ocean.
If there's anybody not to get angry with.
But that was a fun little moment.
This is chill, everybody. This is chill.
But
more fan art has come in.
No, but he learned how to he learned how to shoot a rifle, which was good, and I got to teach him a little bit about how to do it, which is cool. Same with Rachel Oates. Rachel Oates is actually a decent shot. Oh my god, what the hell?
This is chill. You've got the coffee mug and everything. That's from Jack and Quill again.
That's amazing. Like these are awesome. But I would somebody like I was surprised at how fast Rachel Oates learned how to shoot.
Surprised or scared?
Both, because that girl can shoot. She'd never held a gun before. That she can shoot now.
Oh boy. Be careful, guys. Rachel Oates is going to make sure that everybody pays. All those hate comments. Everyone pays.
She's a little bit of practice. She'd be a crackpot.
You mean a crack shot?
Yeah.
You said a crackpot.
Crackpot. I don't know. Whatever. She'd be good. She's a good shot.
Not a crackpot is not a crack shot.
I'll say crack shot.
Do you know the difference, Ocean? Do you know
no,
the difference?
Actually, I don't. I'm not huge into shooting culture.
No.
Crackpot is like terrible, right?
That has nothing to do with shooting culture. A
Okay.
crack shot is someone who's good at
really good at shooting, right?
Okay, a crackpot is somebody who's insane.
Okay.
That's somebody.
No, that's not what I meant.
A crackpot crack shot is someone who will literally slaughter a building. No, not crackpot.
Maybe she.
Are you okay, Ocean?
I'm considering. But no, she's a good shot.
We have a $1 super chat from Jack and Quill. No context, but thank you very much.
Probably for featuring all the art.
No, the art gets featured.
So it put in the chat. It's honestly actually shooting really affects your outlook on guns, and I'd agree with that.
They
that
stop.
was
They stop being the spooky, scary thing, and you start to just kind
right.
of understand
Exactly
what they are. Now, granted, having
You also realize how dangerous they are.
yes, having shot it, like I have a the highest I've ever gotten in a shooting competition is a bronze medal, but I do have like accolades from riflemanship. So, as somebody who has not just shot guns but has also shot guns in competition,
Right.
I have a lot of respect for them, and it's definitely tailored my views a little bit. So yeah, no, it's a thing
Like, I
that I've
think that
done.
to get into like the gun control conversation for a little bit. I do think that having some training is incredibly useful, and that should be considered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't do. Just as long as we don't do this, as long as we don't have churches teaching people to shoot guns.
God damn it.
I say that as a see. I say it as a joke.
See,
But I
the
have
thing is
an
that-
image saved on my
thing is that-
phone of a friend of mine who actively says that churches should have to teach their members how to shoot.
have to what? Okay.
Like that's a
I- and-
thing.
I learned how to shoot I learned how to shoot as a kid with my grandfather. But one of the other places that I learned how to shoot was at a church camp. So it was like a bunch of kids with 22s shooting at like playing cards. And you know, that's the thing.
Yes,
But-
Very,
No, it was
very
just,
live
I'm just
to
like
that.
I'm just like replaying that because it's like the connection with that is like one of the places where like my early shooting memories are from a church camp,
You have a
and they
question.
taught us how to shoot.
There's a
so-
question from Zippa Boy, which is Cyrus. I know you like throwing knives, but are you any good with a sword or a balisong? I have not used a balisong,
What
but
is a palace?
that is let me look it up just to make sure that I'm not gonna mess this up because there's a lot of different types of weaponry. Oh, a balisong. You mean a butterfly knife?
Oh,
Am I good with a butterfly? I can open a butterfly knife using the standard method.
you can do those little.
Yes, but I
spinners.
cannot.
I used to be able to do that. I don't know if I can do it anymore. But
I can't do any complex tricks with one. But I can open it and I can actually I could go grab mine in a little bit if I need to. But as far as with a sword, so I am decent with a sword and I'm competent enough to duel, and I've done quite a few of them. Though not duels to the death. No, that's before you ask. No, I have not put the rapier in a person's chest. But am I competent with a sword? Yes, though it is not my preferred weapon. My preferred weapon is a glaive. Close to, if you've seen Endgame, the weapon that I use is close to what Thanos used in Endgame. But it's
the two-sided.
the two-sided.
thing?
Yeah, it's a two-sided glaive.
Okay.
It's a weapon that I've been using and practicing about 5 years now. So well before it was introduced as a thing for that movie. But it is my preferred weapon, and I enjoy using it a lot. Like I really do.
I have a fun little. I don't know if I should get it out, but it's a it's based on a Chinese sword.
Also, for pine's sake, batleths are not functional swords. I have wielded a batleth. I have swung a batleth.
don't even know
Batleths
what a
are
batleth
not
is.
functional weapons at all. They are props. They are only props. Batleths are horrible.
Is that the
It's the Klingon weapon.
yeah, the Klingon thing? Yeah, that seems like it would be a shitty weapon.
It is a horrible weapon. I've tried using one because like the theory behind using a batleth in combat should be close to the theory behind using a two-sided glaive. It should be, but it's not. The theory behind using a batleth in combat is to throw it on the ground and use your hands because it's more effective.
Right.
Okay, you were saying something.
As the weapon, I've got a couple of things. I've got a traditional Viking sword, and I've also got a this like it's not a is it a glaive? I don't know. It's like a cleaver, but it's on a longer handle.
If
As
it's a
based on a
cleaver and
Chinese weapon.
is it not
Um,
what does it look
I'll
like?
show it to you one
Okay.
day.
If you show it to
But
me, I might be able to name it then.
yeah, it's called the it's not well anyway. Um, but personally, if I'm going to be using anything in like an improvised situation, I'd prefer a nightstick, just
Night.
because it's just like
Well, yeah.
it's blunt
If
force.
you're in an improvised situation, by all means. I don't find myself in improvised situations usually because I carry a karambit.
Yeah,
So for me, it's like I have my weapons on me.
that's
'Cause
right. You do have those kind of situations. Uh, I've been like I travel on the road a lot, and you know, my there's I've been in situations in which I've used a nightstick to alleviate
Nagi
situation.
Xana says he likes his naginata. Naginatas are fun. I've had an opportunity to use a naginata before. They're interesting. I will say though, the best weapon though is time travel.
What the oh no. No.
The best weapon is time travel.
No. Do-do-do. Okay, anyway.
Okay.
The Song of Storms has me spinning in my seat right now.
Hold on. Can I do a thing? Hold on. Let me see.
Oh no, please. I gotta love that. Where are we at in our lives right now? Do we have anything else to talk about with Faithless Forum?
Sorry,
We're
we're at that point. We're at
at
that
the
point
point.
where Cirrus is playing songs
It's
on an
just gone
ocarina.
crazy. They're talking about nightsticks, and playing the Song of Storms.
That was Saria's song.
That was
Dude,
Sari's song. That's right.
Saria's song.
True. Can you play the Song of Storms?
I used to be able to. I need to practice again.
Do it now.
Do it now?
Yeah, that's my challenge to you.
Oh my god. Hold on a second.
Fail miserably.
Storms.
Are you going to listen to it first and then play it?
No, I'm going to look up the. I'm going to look
The
up so I
notes?
can read it.
Okay, you can look up the notes. I'll allow that.
Yeah. So give me just a second. There we go. What is mine? Fucking. There we are. Okay, can I? Hold on. How the fuck does the tune to the Song of Storms go again? Do do do.
Do-do-do, do-do-do.
No, it's. Damn it! No, I'm not fucking good at this anymore. Oh wait a minute. Is it? No, fuck that. No. It's gonna take me a little bit to get to the point where I can do that one again. So it's do. No, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right at all.
Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do.
You know, I know how it should sound, but it just doesn't.
Yeah, you're not making it.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the.
Everybody shame Cirrus for his inability
Everybody
to
shame
play
me
the
for
Song
my
of Storms.
inability to play the Song of Storms on the fly, guys.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm now very sad.
I'm a horrible person. I'm a horrible person.
Terrible human. What are you doing? Oh, so to continue on with Faithless Forum, though, afterwards, I went down to Austin with everybody, hung out at the ACA. There's a few things that I've already commented on that happened there. I wound up hanging out with Eric Murphy a lot. And one of the things that happened that's kind of funny is Rationality Rules and Rachel Oates were on Truth Wanted together. And at the end of the show, this presuppositionalist Kalam defending Christian calls in and starts giving everybody kind of a run for their money a little bit. At which point I got pissed with it, went into the control room and said, "Can I call in?" And they said, "Sure, we'll run it by Dan." And I was like, "Cool." I called in, and if you go to the most recent video of Truth Wanted and go to about the end, you can see me basically taking a Christian who is running the Kalam presuppositionalist kind of position and just giving them a run for their fucking money. While Rachel Oates Rationality Rules, and Dan all get given beers and start drinking. Like as I'm, and then they tell me that I should get a beer, and I was like, yeah, they handed me one while I was talking to this guy, because like Jamie, one of the co-hosts of Talk Heathen comes up to me in the midst of that and just cracks open a Stella and puts it in my hand as I'm doing this.
as the heathen do.
Which, you know, there's the mug from Talk Heathen that I got out of that whole interaction. But yeah, it's the last little bit of Truth Wanted as me coming in and having fun with them a little bit. But yeah, that was a chill bunch, and one of the responses on Twitter was the solution to the Kalam is Ocean's Razor.
I'm so confused. Somebody just tried to tell me 4 minutes ago that putting Hunter Avalon's name in the thumbnail of the video I'm responding to them was a subtle trick to trick people into subscribing to me, thinking that I'm Hunter Avalon.
What stupid fucking what?
I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now.
You should just put Hunter Avalon's name in like 3 of your thumbnails that have nothing to do with him.
No, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say this right now. The caliber of fans of Hunter, there's a few that I've seen that are not this way. A few of Hunter's fans I've seen that are actually like decent, good thinking people. But the caliber of fans that I've seen from Hunter's channel looking at mine, responding, I hope that they are not representative of the fan base on his channel. Because this is the shit that I get.
Oh,
I had one person when I used an article. It was the article that or not the article, but the paper. The paper that Callan sent me, the sociology paper that's been cited over 1,200 times since its publication.
Right.
The one that I used for the Essence of Thought conversation for a lot of my research. When I put that in the description of one of my videos, and when somebody said that you have nothing to back up your claims, and I said, well, I have a cited source that's like kind of a very important cited source here, and they went, a website doesn't prove your point, and I'm like, wait, a scientific paper is not a fucking website, you trog. So,
how long have we been on the air?
Too long. Way too long.
We should end this shit.
It's devolving.
What are we doing? All right, so we talked about Faithless Forum. Any closing words about Faithless Forum? I fucking enjoyed myself. Did you fucking enjoy yourself?
I cannot wait until the next one.
Sweet. I can't either.
That's what my thing is.
Next one, we should see if we can do a live Hammered Out as a panel.
Yes, having a quick like 45-minute Hammered Out episode as a panel.
That would be fun.
If we can manage that would be great.
Yep,
I would love to.
Fun times.
If not, we can try hosting something here in Atlanta.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be very fun.
Yeah. So,
Jack and Cole says, "Wait, I have a fan art in progress." How long do we have, Jack? How long do we have?
Here we go. We're
gonna do it. We're gonna hold out long enough.
We're also planning on having another stream here in a minute.
Yes, it's gonna be not right now, but it's going to be here in maybe like 30. Give us enough time for like a 30. Yeah,
I want to take a break and fuck off for a second, but
get some food. Get some delicious eats.
But we are going to explore documents that have been sent to us about. You want to explain it?
So, for those who are not aware, there is a bill that has been lovingly labeled the Heartbeat Bill in Georgia. And me and Ocean want to go over that bill. And also, if you're familiar with Lady Unicorn HAG, they ended up going through the bill itself and parsing out a lot of it for us so that some of the legalese is a little less obscure.
I'm familiar with like a few things with it, but it's also like... there's a few things that I don't know whether or not are in it and that kind of thing. So I haven't explored it.
So here's what we'll do. So Nathaniel Walters, who this is his wheelhouse.
Right. Let's have him on.
He's wanting to hop on for that. He says he wants to be on for that. Let's do that. So it'll be me, you, and Nathaniel all on Zoom. We'll take up the 3 panels up here,
Right.
We will go
and we
through.
can just kind of go through it and talk about it. Yeah.
Yep, we'll go through it and talk about it. Nathaniel, that means that we need to see you 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I know that you're Central and you think that that's superior, but you're wrong.
So 4:30 his time.
Yes. So we will go ahead and have that set up. It'll be an hour from now. It might be a little later than an hour. Let's shoot for 6. Enough time for us to all go get food.
Okay, we can
and
shoot for
rest.
6. Yeah.
So 6 p.m.
So
Eastern.
6 Eastern, 5 Central.
Yep.
Yep. And we'll get on that. And yeah, we'll hammer some things out.
We will hammer
Happy
many
fucking
things out.
Thursday, you assholes. And this was fun. Faithless Forum was neat. Our trip to Austin was fun. So
Yep.
there you go.
And Jack and Cool says they will wait for the next stream in order to show their fan art. And that is fine.
Cool.
We'll do that.
Yeah, and we'll then fan art. The same rules will apply. We'll be popping up fan art at the same time.
As you do.
But yeah. All right. I'll see you.
Sounds great. Thank you all for tuning in.